managing the injury and does not know if Prescott will practice before this Sunday's game against Washington. So we ask our Ed Warder, who's with the Cowboys, what is the latest in terms of an update with Dak Prescott and his shoulder? Did Jason Garrett share more about the status of his quarterback?
Very little, but the Cowboys officially listed Dak Prescott as not participating in practice yesterday, a historic designation since the quarterback's never missed a practice in 4 NFL seasons. But the reality is he's as involved physically this week as he was a week ago, and the Cowboys seem to have almost no doubt that Prescott will make his 64th consecutive start against the Redskins in a game they have to win to have any chance at the playoffs. Jason Garrett did say this morning that if the quarterback practices today, he won't do very much, and they expect to list him as limited. Garrett said Prescott's on a similar path from a week ago, and that he's in what Garrett described as a good frame of mind for playing in the game Sunday. For his part, Prescott said his sprained throwing shoulder is improving. He intends to attempt passes today or tomorrow for the first time since finishing last week's loss to the Eagles. And Prescott indicated that he did take a pain-killing injection both before the game last week and again at halftime carry. Whether that'll be necessary again for Sunday's game remains undetermined. And a final note, starting left tackle Tyron Smith continues to have problems with his back. Probably won't practice today. His game status to be determined.
His game status to be determined. Okay, thank you so much, Ed Warder, for that, giving us the latest. Meanwhile, let's talk about some of the decisions that need to be made. Jerry Jones will have some interesting decisions to make with Dak Prescott's star wideout Amari Cooper and obviously head coach Jason Garrett all set to become free agents this offseason. With 1 game to go, Dak has already set career highs in pass yards and pass touchdowns. Did add Brown to the roster. He could not play until the league finished their investigation of Brown. Meanwhile, the Saints could certainly use another person at wideout to complement Michael Thomas, who has been a one-man show for the Saints. He has over 1,000 more receiving yards and 3 more touchdowns than the rest of the Saints wideouts combined. For more on this story, we welcome in our NFL reporter, Saints reporter, Mike Triplett. Thank you so much for joining us here on SportsCenter Coast to Coast. So can you please tell us what's the latest with Antonio Brown's workout status?
Well, thanks, Carrie. The Saints are about to take the practice field now after completing workouts with Brown and other receivers. Adam Schefter reported that former Redskins receiver Maurice Harris was among them. And then we hope to speak with Sean Payton for maybe some more insight after practice. It is hard to believe, though, that this is an immediate solution the Saints are looking for heading into the playoffs because there is so much uncertainty about when Brown could even play. If he were to sign with the team, he might be put on the commissioner's exempt list while they finish the investigation. So it's unclear exactly how soon they would expect Brown to help or if they just wanted to take a look at him looking ahead to the future. But this team definitely has a need at receivers other than Michael Thomas. As you mentioned, no other receiver on this team with even 30 catches this year, and they just placed one of them, Krishawn Hogan, on injured reserve. Now, if you want to know why they would be willing to take a chance on the character in the locker room, the Saints obviously feel real good about their locker room. They did just sign Janoris Jenkins last week after he was released by the Giants. And last year, they added both Des Bryant and Brandon Marshall late in the season to try to fill this same receiver void that they haven't quite filled yet this year.
I'm sorry, quickly, I have to do this follow-up. What do you mean the Saints feel good about their locker room in terms of bringing in someone like Antonio Brown, who has a lot of questions around his character?
Yeah, the culture that this team has established, obviously with Sean Payton and Drew Brees leading the team for going on 15 years now. They've been willing to take a chance now and then on some players that other people think could be a disruption. You know, they have a standard they've set here, and you know, they feel every once in a while like winning helps, obviously. Maybe they'll get a player on their best behavior. And, you know, very similar to what the Patriots did when they brought him in earlier and then did not keep him for very long.
Yeah, winning solves all, is that what some say? Meanwhile, that's our Saints reporter, Mike Triplett. Thank you so much for giving us the latest. We appreciate you, my friend.
So it's been 4 years since Marshawn Lynch left Seattle. Since then, he has retired twice, played for his hometown Oakland, and now the 33-year-old is back. Sunday, he'll look to help his team win the NFC West in the regular season finale against the Niners. And as our Mark Schwartz tells us, Lynch and the Seahawks together again at this moment is exactly what they need.
Desperate times call for beastly measures. Seattle has lost 3 running backs to season-ending injuries over the past 3 weeks. And now, in their most critical game all season, Pete Carroll turns to Marshawn Lynch, the man who embodies Carroll's football philosophy more than any other.
He's as physical a player as I've ever been around, as great a competitor as I've ever been around. When you get to add somebody like that, to your team, it only helps and enhances kind of the mentality that we already cherish anyways.
Finds a little bit of a hole. Keeper's leg moving. He's across the 40. Midfield. He's going to go. He is going to go. Touchdown, Seahawks. Beast mode. You are spectacular.
He's been working. He looks great. He looks explosive. He looks fast. He looks strong, quick as ever. We'll find out how he can play and how he does. He's been a little while off. But he looks great. In the first couple looks at him, as far as his conditioning and all of that, his weight's down.
Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner says expectations for a man who has not carried the football in 14 months have to be realistic. Damien Clowney says he's been watching Lynch in practice and he looks good. He's always wanted to be on Lynch's team. He seemed almost awestruck, describing him as a highlight reel just waiting to happen.
Marshawn's definitely one of those guys who's, no matter what, he's given everything, every play, every moment is going to bring that, and you're going to feel that, in the locker room. You're going to feel that, when he's in the huddle. So it's great to have him back, obviously, and bring that juice, bring that energy, bring that focus and tenacity.
Clowney says that juice Lynch brings has been the boost this team needs right now after their most disheartening loss of the season last week against Arizona at home. Lynch says he's back to complete some unfinished business. His teammates seem confident he's still all about that action, boss.
Oh. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. We welcome in our NFL analyst, Damien Woody. NFC seeding up for grabs in Week 17. Only the Vikings are locked into that 6th seed. 4 teams with a chance to get that #1 seed. So the big question for you, since you are all about that action, boss, who do you think gets the #1 seed?
I think it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. They're playing up against the Seattle Seahawks up in Seattle. They're the more talented team. And quite frankly, they're a more healthy team. In the last meeting, George Kittle didn't even play. Emmanuel Sanders left the game early. This is a team that's second in the league in rushing, the top passing defense in the National Football League. They have a ferocious front four. So when you look at this matchup, Seattle Seahawks have quite a few players, instrumental players that are going to be missing in this matchup. So I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, we'll run the tape back if you're wrong, but if you're right, we'll just tell you that you're right. Moving over to the NFC East, all the Eagles need to do is beat the Giants and win the NFC East title. Doug Peterson earlier spoke about that. This is new on SportsCenter. Listen to this matchup, and I'll listen to what he says about the matchup, and I'll get your take.
I know our guys are going to be ready. They've prepared this week that way. But for me, as the coach, just keep reminding them, the importance of this week and the importance of this game and staying focused and all that. We got to win this game. I mean, bottom line, we're trying to go 1-0 against a really good Giants team right now. And so that's our focus. I challenge the coaching staff to, make sure our players are on point with everything and dialed in on the game plan. And because this is, for us, this is a playoff game.
All they need to do is beat the Giants. That seems like an easy ask, I think. So, in your opinion, who do you think will take home the NFC East title?
Kerry, I've been stewing over this one, and I'm going to call an audible from what I was going to say. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game, going to win the NFC outright. And it's all because of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz over the past 3 weeks has just been playing outstanding football. It doesn't even matter with the players that aren't available to him. He's been able to make plays with Greg Ward, a former quarterback from the University of Houston, the tight ends at his disposal. He's just been playing fantastic football. I think he's going to will his team to win in the NFC East this weekend.
I'm so nervous. I don't know why the NFC East is always so full of drama. I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Meanwhile, Damien Woody, thank you so much for joining us here. Yeah. Happy holidays, my friend.
Same to
Meanwhile,
you.
Speaking about holidays, you might like this one, Damien. Holiday giving in full effect for the Giants linebacker Marcus Golden. A stat correction from Sunday's win over Washington allowed him to earn $1 million bonus after a standard review of a half sack of Dwayne Haskins was changed to a full sack. That gave him 10 on the season, which means more money, translation, $1 million. Now, speaking of bonuses, I was speaking to my producer about this. I was hoping she can help me get one of these types of deals going on, but I don't know. A whole lot more money is going to be at stake for Week 17, including the 206 pass yards Ryan Tannehill needs to reach 2,750 on the season which would give him $250,000. Tyler Lockett can earn a $200,000 bonus with another receiving touchdown, which would get him to 8 on the season. And having already caught over 55 balls, Jason Witten will earn $375,000 if Dallas makes the playoffs. So he really wants that to happen. What about you, Tony? What's your bonus looking like?
Peanuts right now. But I will tell you, it's giving season in college football as well, in bowl season, and that means that players can expect some swag bags at their games courtesy of their bowl sponsor for the PlayStation Field.